Long ago in the heart of England, there was a beautiful house called Alton Towers. It was owned by a rich earl and was said to be the finest house in the kingdom. But when the earl died, his family argued about who owned what. They argued so much they went to court and wasted all their money. The house became a ruin. Then some businessmen bought Alton Towers and installed a fun fair in the gardens. But as the years went by, customers became bored with the old attractions. They wanted something new. So one day, a leisure corporation called Pearson's decided to buy Alton Towers. They came with flowcharts, focus groups and satisfaction surveys. They had a formula for fun. They called it the Alton Towers Magic. From now on, they decided, everything would be done according to the magic.
What is the Alton Towers magic?
Well, the magic is, it's magical. It's so different from anything else. It's almost as though it's unreal, but it's actually happening to you. And that's only what you get here.
The magic of Alton Towers is pure fun and fantasy and escapism. That's the magic of Alton Towers. I think we do it rather well.
You're here to create what they say is a magical day for everyone, so if you can make someone have a good time, even if you make someone laugh once or make they enjoy the ride or be nice to someone, it cheers them up a bit, then you've made their day a bit better. So it's called creating, adding to the magic, you see, so every bit you can do, even if it's one little thing, makes someone's day better, then you've done something that's going to cheer them up and something that they'll hopefully remember and take with them.
It was hard to see the magic, but only a fool was said to doubt its existence. It was everywhere, on the rides, at the food stands, in the queues. Nothing was left to chance. Magic had become the corporate mantra.
About a year ago, we actually created a mission statement at Alton Towers. And it reads, "Why we are here is to create magic for everyone. So first of all, for our guests. We will create magic for all our guests by exciting and entertaining them with an experience which is unique and totally themed. Second element is for our staff. We'll make Alton Towers a magical place to work by developing individual skills, personal responsibility and work which is fun and rewarding. And finally, for our shareholders, as after all we're part of a public company, we will ensure a magical future by beating the competition, improving our financial success and investing to strengthen our position as the UK's #1 theme park."
If you move the cafe, you can get the flow line round the back of the cafe and then you don't need to worry about getting everyone across the roof of it.
Alan?
But being #1 wasn't easy. The company had to keep up with the times and make the magic as modern as possible. So they brainstormed and consulted and came up with a plan. They decided to build the world's most magical roller coaster.
Come February, we'll run a teaser campaign, okay? We'll run that for a couple of weeks. What we'll do is we won't associate it with Alton Towers in any way. It'll just be establishing the brand, the colourways and the icon. And then from the start of March, that effectively is the date when we'll release it to the world.
Unauthorized personnel, please stand clear.
Clear the area, please.
Clear the area, please.
It would be a roller coaster for the late 90s. Cool, modern, very millennium.
The new ride for next year is something it's quite unusual, and to say the least, we're extremely excited about it. What it is, the ride in essence is a very simple proposition because it's the world's first vertical drop roller coaster. And that sounds fairly scary, but it's sort of technically incredibly challenging. There's a lot of instances in the world at the moment where coasters have got sort of fairly steep drops, but there are no coasters where it literally goes completely vertical. What the ride will do, it's a fairly straightforward ride. You go up to a very high point, about 100 foot above ground. You will hang on the edge, on the precipice, for about 3 seconds or so, and then you will vertically plunge. The ride's called Oblivion, because we debated the ride name for an awful long time, but Oblivion is the state of being forgotten. And when you drop off that edge, you'll feel very much like you're about to drop into this enormous hole, and you're into the state of being forgotten at a terrifying rapid pace, which should get a few people going.
The time is not yet right.
Everyone was excited. They knew something was being built, but no one knew what it was or what it would be called.
That information is classified. Please clear the area. Operative 242 to Security 3. Sector 4. Imminent. Roger.
People don't know how incredibly hard it is standing absolutely still while people mill past you and there's noises going on, and you can't interact with them, you can't banter with them, you can't laugh, smile, joke. They didn't want any of that.
Clear the area, please.
They wanted this guy who stood out like a sore thumb, hence the costume, but at the same time they wanted what was going on behind him to be kept secret. So it was a very hard contrast to hit.
Don't touch.
The whole ethos of Alton Towers is friendly, personable, do as much as you can for the customer. This is why this is such a complete contrast. You've got to be antisocial, not speak to anybody. Sometimes it's very hard to do that because you're so much the opposite way around. They employ people for those qualities.
Being the number one at what we do is not just about the mixture of rides and attractions at Alton Towers. The high-quality entertainment, major investment in state-of-the-art rides may well be what the visitors come for. But they are only one part of producing the magic, because there is a major element without which Alton Towers is nothing. Who creates the magic? You do.
People in the Magic Factory worked long hours for low wages. There were no unions or labour problems. Things like that were old-fashioned. The new way was for everyone to pull together for the good of the company. The workers had to look smart and cheerful at all times. They were told to behave like ambassadors for Alton Towers.
Okie shall we start? Because we haven't got much room today, when I just say your name, can you stand up and wriggle your socks for me, please? Ruth, have you got trousers on today? And can we have a wriggle, please? Yeah, Mr. Maddox. Okay, Steve. Excellent. Ian. Thank you. Lads behind. Come on, Nick. I want to wriggle. Kirsty. Baby Spice. Come on, don't let us down. Oh! to wear black or grey plain socks. Unfortunately, Kirsty had got Mickey Mouse on, and we tend to send them, at the beginning of the season, we tend to send them up to wardrobe and tell them to buy plain black socks up there, because they sell them there £2.
Has the place changed much over the years?
Yeah, incredibly, yeah. On the old days, it was like a hidey-high. Sort of everyone knew each other. I mean, the only thing that was lacking was the little chalets at the end of the park. Now it's not as close, a lot more business-orientated. Yeah, it's all sorts of procedures and, you know, trying to meet the profit margins and things like that, I think.
What do you mean, procedures?
How to clean a donut machine procedure, how to scrub a floor procedure, what chemicals to use when scrubbing a floor, and, you know, everything like that, where before you just got your squirter washing up liquid and had a quick... Everything's written down.
Procedures, procedures. There was even a procedure for having fun. The company believed that happy workers were magical workers.
This is a new approach here, and we think it's the right one. And we think it's the right one for the late 90s. We think it's the approach that's going to work. And it seems to be working at the moment. Our guest satisfaction scores are doing better. Our staff tell us that it's a better place to work through surveys we've done with them. So we seem to be getting there. It takes a long time to change a culture. Really, we want them to realise, and they are, that the more they can enjoy a job, and the more they can add enjoyment to the guests, the quicker the day goes, and the more they just like coming to work.
And say, oh, doesn't that music drive you mad? It doesn't for one way, I think it's cheerful, but the other way is I can't really hear it. I've been listening to it for 4 years, and I switch off seriously. The only time I remember that there's music on the ride is when someone says to me, doesn't that drive you mad? But I'm like, oh yeah, there's music. But the first time I heard it, I thought it was great. I've heard bits that I've never heard before. There's actually a little backbeat to it that no one else knows is there. And I sit there humming along to this backbeat, and everyone's saying, well, that's not the music, but if you listen closely, it's actually there. I only found that this year. So that's 3 years of listening to it. So, but as you go around, people listen to it, and then they actually play it out on the area now. You know, they have these little musical bins out there. They've got Toyland music coming out there, so you can't even get away from it when you go out there now.
You know, this repetitive stress thing that's about now, I'll be surprised if somebody doesn't claim it for their hearing. When you wake up in the middle of the night hearing the music, it's time to pack up. Oh, gobbler.
It's not real.
Not real.
No one had witnessed more change at Alton Towers than Roy.
Wait for the magical lift.
Roy had started working at the park when he was a lad, way back in the days of the fun fair. When the corporation arrived, he had to learn its new ways. But he learned quickly and became a believer in the magic.
This is our Arabian Night suite. This sleeps 2 people. Gives you the touch of an Eastern promise, and to stay in here for the night. And as you can see the decor of the whole room, if you look at the corners of the bed, and you can see the stars and the moon glistening through, and even on the far side where the tent has parted. So you've got the feeling of being out there, all the dust blowing outside, you know. Also, what about the bathroom? 125 rides and attractions you've tried out there. Come back and try our bathroom. Step into your own nice bubble bath. Get rid of all the aches and pains after travelling all around the park for the day. Look at the bathroom, everything matches with that Eastern promise. Many years ago, of course, there wasn't the attractions that there are now. So there was sort of like rowboats, and they used to have donkey rides and things like that. And there was a small fairground, and there was sort of bumping cars and coconut shies and the old candy floss and a fun house as well. But it really was nice because it had that sort of very relaxed atmosphere, because there wasn't the bustle as there is today to go and try a super ride, you know, that will take you to the edge of your seat. I've always, I suppose really, I've been on my own roller coaster, I suppose, if you like. I've seen many, many changes. And if I hadn't have kept up to speed with the changes, perhaps I wouldn't be talking to you now.
What makes a good Alton Towers employee?
Be natural, enjoy meeting people, and enjoy your job.
Are you a magical worker?
Very magical. That's what they call me, Frank the Magic Bin Man.
Yup.
Oh, here, what's this? Me P45? Right, close. It's 6 o'clock. Monorail close 7 o'clock. Today's forecast is 12,814. Thought of the day: the brain is a wonderful organ. It starts the moment you wake up and doesn't stop until you get into the office.
This is the rear entrance of the hotel. This is the service lift. And it's basically saying, have you wowed anybody today? So what have you done that's been different? So what have you done to make an impression on our guests today? As you go down the corridors here, this is get the opportunity to check your dress and to say, smile, make someone's day. That's what it's all about. Smile, it costs nothing. That's what it's all about. We all have these muscles in our face, so we should use them by making someone's day and smiling. But you get the feel as though, this is it, I'm going forward. I'm going forward, I'm going on stage, and as it says here, you're a superstar. Everyone that works at Alton Towers is a superstar, and they're ready to go on stage.
Any customers have occasion to speak to me, I smile to them, but I'm not going to walk around like an idiot smiling to myself all day. I mean, they'd think it was crackers that walked around smiling all day, wouldn't they? Especially when you don't feel like smiling. If you feel like saying, oh, so that, you know, I'm going. No. It's a good idea if you could get everybody to smile, but unfortunately, for £3.40 an hour, you don't have a lot to smile about. It's as simple as that. Perhaps they will give me £6.40 an hour and walk around laughing all day for them if they wanted, you know.
Alton Towers was very popular. It was famous for its white-knuckle roller coasters, and visitors came from all over to ride them. Among the visitors was a devoted band of coaster enthusiasts, for whom looping the loop was a way of life.
Who's on their third loop of on? Who's on their second loop of on? Who's a virgin? And who's on their first loop of on? As some of you are on your first Loop-a-thon, those regular people, everyone who's been on trips before, is going to look to you and is going to give you the coaster handshake. Let's have some coaster handshakes going on. I want everyone to have shaken hands with 2 people. Everyone. And who's clever enough to do a racing coaster handshake? And what about a nemesis coaster handshake? Oh, don't you look silly.
A roller coaster enthusiast is someone who likes going to a park most weekends and will not be content with queuing for a ride and going on once. They'll want to go on it again and again and again. And once they've done that, they'll want to go on the rest of the roller coasters in the park again and again and again. And when they've done that, they'll want to go to another park and do it. And so a roller coaster enthusiast is someone who can keep on riding roller coasters, different types, in different countries. They'll spend a lot of money travelling around the world just to ride roller coasters.
The roller coaster club were such regulars at Alton Towers that one day a year they were allowed to take over a big ride and have it to themselves.
New riders, are you ready? Yes! Well, we're not going to send the train until we hear some more noise. 3, 2, 1.
In a club of 1,500 odd people, you're going to get a few what you might call anoraks. People do like to know what holds the rides together. They want to know how many bolts are in there, how many gallons of paint that are covering it. But at the end of the day, of course, the fun in roller coaster riding is riding it. Your Monday to Friday job is pretty mundane. Come the weekends, you can get on that roller coaster and let that machine control your destiny. For 2 minutes of your life, you're not in control. One ride is never enough. You've got to try the front seat, the back seats, the side seats. The front seat gives you more downforce, you feel heavier in the front seat. The back seat gives you more air time, so you feel lighter. And the left side and the right side are different. And of course, different times of the day as well vary the ride.
Meanwhile, the new roller coaster was still make-believe. An enormous hole in the ground.
What you see here is a great big piece of civil engineering, which isn't kind of very exciting. What we have to do is to turn that into magic. We are entertainers. The fact that we use concrete and steel to do our entertaining, as opposed to a piece of Shakespearean text or whatever, is immaterial. Next year, this is going to look like a sinister, forbidden place, and no one can really work out what it's all about. You know, there's always a place sort of a few miles away that's got a barbed wire fence around it and a minefield, and you know people that work there and they never tell you what they do, and it's all a bit sinister and a bit secret. Well, that's one of these places, and there's something going on underground, and no one knows quite what, or no one will admit that really anything goes on underground. And when you come here, you unwittingly find yourself part of an experiment, and you're taken underground into Oblivion. And we're having a great time working all this up at the moment.
Access denied until launch date 0398.
But next time over the fence.
Well, all you can say with any clarity is it's designed by Bollinger and Mabiars. You can tell just by the shape of the track section. It's going to be impressive. It's a big hole.
High security area.
People are really curious because there's not quite enough happening yet to give the game away. There's a big hole and there's a big mound and there's some bits of metal work over there. Some of it's obviously structure. Looking at it, it's
some of it's recognisable as to who the supplier is, who the manufacturer is. But there's not enough there to ascertain what's actually going to happen. I mean, there's one straight bit of, if that's track, one straight bit of track and a couple of supports. So it's a nice tease to see a bit of it, but still can't work out what it actually is going to be. No. Just have to keep watching this space, I suppose. Keep coming up to this fence.
Yeah. Any players start to race. It's a racing game. Race your dragon all the way to the top of the screen. It's the first one to reach the top that rings the bells and lights those lights will take a teddy bear home tonight. So come on everybody, now let's have some fun. It only costs £1 to put water in your gun. You fire at the targets, watch your dragons run. First one to the top, it's a Humphrey Bear you've won.
I've heard the new ride costs £15 million. How much do these games cost?
Yeah, I don't know what the cost was, but it's not £15 million. It's a long way off of that. It's definitely a long way off of it. There's, mind you, I think these are still, I think they still are popular. So we take over £1,000 on a good day. Yeah, I think there's still a place for the old-fashioned games. Yeah, there's still a good place for them. I wouldn't like to work the rides. To me it's boring, just putting people on games, on the cars and taking them off. That's boring, that's not my idea of a job. I prefer to be on these sort of games. Yeah, should be another one there. Nope, that's it, 1 out.
In the magical world of Oblivion, image was everything. An ad agency from Manchester had the job of selling it as the coolest ride in the land.
What would the new ride be like?
Something a bit like this. You're standing literally teetering on the brink of Oblivion, staying face downwards, and you're swaying back and two, and you don't know whether you're going to fall at any moment.
And your stomach's churning, and your eyes are popping out, and the beads of sweat are dribbling off your forehead. In actual fact, this is just something we got the client to do when we presented these ideas to.
And then, face forward.
That's what it's going to be like?
Yeah, exactly like that.
Except it's going to be into a big, bloody dark hole.
And a bit higher, and not, and not a cushiony carpet.
yeah. We didn't want to go and use all the usual imagery of roller coasters, so we decided to look around at all the other sort of funky, zany stuff and to try and come up with something new and unique for this ride.
This commercial opens on the inky blackness of the interior of a Hercules plane. We see a man strapped to the inside of the loading ramp. He begins to slide towards the edge. As he continues to slide, his feet just manage to hook onto the metal ribbing of the ramp. We cut to the following words on screen. What's it like to fall into Oblivion? As if in answer to this question, we see a ride car from various angles. Suddenly, the ride car hurtles towards us at incredible speed, until the logo on the front of the ride car fills the frame. The camera focuses on the word Oblivion in the center of the logo. As this sequence occurs, a voiceover delivers the words, world first, face first, sheer drop.
The ad agents had come up with some cool ideas, but first they had to be tested on a focus group.
We felt that one route would be to take a metaphor for the fall itself. So rather than showing the fall, it's the fear of the fall that makes it most frightening.
So why didn't it work? Why aren't you very enthusiastic?
I think that planning bit's completely old nonsense, I'm afraid. I mean, I can see the point, you know, what is it like to stand for Oblivion, but being dropped out the back of a Hercules plane is not the same as going on a roller coaster. By definition, he's going to die, and I don't think I am. There's a certain point, you know, you're trying to recreate the thing, even in death, you know, this is it, I've had it, you know, I can't, you know, this is too extreme. And those pictures look, I think it's so fascinating because it just looks impossible.
People like to be told the truth about things, they're fed up with all the sort of bullshit.
Disappointment, and you get that, that's not what it is.
Yeah, that's very true.
You know, they don't like the metaphors. They don't like anything that's slightly removed from it. But I always see that in group research. It's a bit like everyone always says, just tell me the product, just show me the product demonstration. But at the start, what advertising did they like? Nike, Levi's, stuff that's completely wrapped in imagery. Now I'll bet if you'd have showed them the storyboards for those Nike and Levi's adverts, they'd have said, just spend a bit more time showing me the jeans, just spend a bit more time showing me how good the trainers are, or the footy boots, or whatever it may be.
I think, yeah, I don't know who said it, one of the comments was, you know, in fact it was said a couple of times, or just get rid of the front bit and use the end bit.
You could very literally interpret it. You could just end up with a load of ride shots, which they'll then understand the ride, but they won't necessarily get any depth of imagery. So I do think you've got to interpret the process to an extent.
The marketing people interpreted and interpreted, and then accepted the focus group's advice. The commercial would have no aeroplanes or metaphors, just ride shots, lots of ride shots, all mocked up in a studio because the real ride still didn't exist.
Don't move detail. Here we go. Roll camera. Everybody still and action. Still. Keep rolling. Good.
Overall, the overall project is more mainstream than I think myself and Tony originally had planned. But that's okay. There's still plenty of good creative opportunities.
Action. No?
Good. Good. What's happened to about the Hercules plane?
It bombed. Just cut that.
It was the last day of the season. After 8 magical months, Alton Towers was about to close for the winter.
Sorry about the wait. Thank you.
End of season.
Thank goodness. Nearly said something else.
There's a one in there. Oh, unlucky. You just got the one. Would you like one wing pig or one wing cow?
Mistake throw. How do you get this up now?
It's cold. Won't be a second, we'll just get you another, okay? Right, you're waiting for a hot dog without onions,
What now for you?
Got a job to start on tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. Textile factory, 8 to 4:30. 5 days a week. Which is more than enough for me, it's what I want, you know.
Are you going to come back to work at Alton Towers next year?
Hopefully not. Maybe. I don't know. I can't say at the moment. I mean, I'll hopefully start the teaching course next September, so it all depends.
On what?
I don't know. There are good times, but days like this, it's hellish, really, to be honest, when you're getting people complaining and you just don't know what to do for the best, really. You just end up making a bit of a fool of yourself.
I've had lots of jobs in your lifetime, and it's the best job I've ever had. I really enjoy doing it.
It's a bit like Disneyland, this place.
I suppose it is, yeah. In England. I suppose I've always wanted to be a red coat at Butlin, so it's the next best thing, red coat at Alton Towers.
Will you miss the place?
I can't say in the world, to be honest. If you had asked me that at this time last season, I would have said yes. But no, I'm afraid I won't. Not now. As a matter of fact, I should be glad when it's the evening and I'm finished. I'll go out of the gate saying, you. I'm glad that's over. That's an aspect of my life done and gone with now.
The season was going to end with a bang. Alton Towers was hosting an enormous fireworks display. Afterwards, the staff would be sent home and wouldn't be needed again until the new season, in 4 months' time.
That's on.
Yeah, he says switching it off for the last time. I've done it how many times all season, I can't remember. It's worse when you have to lock the door at the end, sort of stand there and look at it for a bit. I think everyone gets a bit upset at the end of the season. All the atmosphere that was here, you know, is gone now. This is just a little short story I wrote today, taking the piss really out of my job and the boring nature of it. Greedy customers screaming for cheap goods, never satisfied, never pleasant, never fulfilled. Waitresses and waiters performing the same mind-numbing tasks day in, day out. The pain of an itching boater on the head for 12 hours, oh what torment. People mocking the primary coloured uniform, shirt collars so tight and painful that the neck turns red and the purple veins become very prominent. Rush hour and the people shovel mouthfuls of crap into their mouth. Their actions almost mechanical, like JCB fast tracks. Step, step, quick, quick step. How clinical this existence has become. The chaffing of 70 denier tights against rough legs, tired and achy from a 36-hour shift with only 2 hours sleep. Knees scraping, legs shaking, help me. The day draws to an end. We are left with the short straw, using a hoover to pick up 12-hour-old chips, the hoover swallowing with a greedy appetite. And that's it, I'm afraid. We got busy towards the end.
This is your feelings?
That's my feelings about today, yeah. Sums it up, really.
In the past, anybody who worked in the leisure business, it was always felt to be a bit of a Cinderella business. These days, the way the country is moving, service industries, tourism, leisure is becoming much more important to the country's economy, and businesses like our own are very much the growing businesses, and these are the businesses of the future.
And so the people had gone, the music had stopped, the magic had disappeared. Alton Towers was closed for the winter. But work on Oblivion continued. With no visitors in the park, it was much easier to build the ride in secret. After 2 years of planning, it was time for the first test run. Having invested £12 million, the directors of the company had come along to see how special the ride really was.
We mustn't interfere. Let's just obviously wait and see what happens.
That's exciting to me. It's the first time I've ever seen it move.
Really? It had better move a lot more than that.
The members are really getting excited. There's still weeks to go, but I'm getting letter after letter every day, and emails and phone calls. People ask me what it is, what's the name, what's the theming. They're really desperate to find out, and I think this closed season during the winter is really getting to them, because they've got nothing else to think about now other than the new ride on the first day of the season.
Oh yeah, oh, did you charge for the minister? You are on your back, just looking at the sky. I mean, it goes from the sublime to the ridiculous. One minute you're looking at the sky, and the next minute you're looking straight at the ground, and it's coming up towards you.
One person in particular, called the Wooden Spectre, from Sussex, is sending me so many letters, asking me or demanding that I tell him everything. I've got a few here, just they're all written in stencil, so it's very difficult to read, but silence is not an option. Another one here. You cannot deprive us of what we must know. Well, even if I wanted to tell him, I can't, because he doesn't tell me who he is. I just get his Wooden Spectre and a postmark of Sussex, and I've called all the members in Sussex and cross-examined them, and they're all denying it, so I don't know who he is, and he really should save his postage. Well, recently, this one, quite funny. You went 2 weeks without abuse. We have gone without details for too long.
Oh dear. Now that's the holding point. That's where you'll be held.
They can't. They've got no idea.
Well,
they're not even
when
looking
you're
straight
held,
down. They're looking over here.
Made it.
Wonderful, that's smooth.
It got round. It sounded unbelievably quiet.
Excellent. God, that was so quiet as well. Very smooth. Very
perfect, wasn't it?
It's right, isn't it? That
wonderful. That noise.
Perfect.
First vertical drop roller coaster at Alton Towers.
With the winter over, the park was open again and Oblivion was ready. The media hype had been enormous. It had been on the news, it had been advertised on packets of cornflakes, it had even been on Blue Peter. Now the people would find out for themselves what it was really like.
How's that? Excellent.
well worth all the wait. It was, you can't, the feeling when you're hanging off the edge at the top and it stops slightly and then all of a sudden it's released and you drop down. It's just amazing. The spray, because you can't see the hole in the ground. Brilliant. Well worth all the wait.
What do you think of the ride, people?
Blimey. Good.
What do you think of the ride? What do you think?
We do know from marketing to 16 to 24s that they want something that's got edge, something that's cool, something that's fairly hard, visually very impactful, but at the same time, they don't want anything that's too extreme.
What do you think?
Brilliant, superb.
Good ride. All satisfied, Captain?
Together, I mean, you were smiling. Do you like it? I haven't got it yet, actually.
Oh, you have to join the queue.
Well, I know.
We're not letting you in the exit. You've got to join the queue with the rest of them.
Quite right too. I'll join it later on.
Is it a magical ride?
Yeah, it's certainly it's incredible. It's magical, amazing experience. Totally different. And it certainly brings the magic to us, yeah. Yeah. Love it.
Oblivion was officially a magical ride, with a magical queue to match. On its opening day, people were willing to wait 2 hours for a 6-second drop. That was truly magical.
When you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're
Within the crowd, a lone voice was heard to say, "What's all the fuss about? It's just a roller coaster ride with a big drop. It's not really magical." But everyone ignored him and carried on enjoying themselves. They wanted to believe in the magic and were determined to ride happily ever after. In its first season, Oblivion broke all records for a British roller coaster. On busy days, it was processing 1,800 people an hour. Andy has ridden it more than anyone. The threatening letters have stopped, but the identity of the wooden spectre remains a mystery. Stuart is still working at the Magic Factory and has been promoted to stock supervisor. Kathy has swapped her donuts for files and become a magical administration assistant. Frank left Alton Towers and got a job delivering fruit and veg. Dawn was not asked back. She was told she had a timekeeping problem.
But when you're crying, you bring on the rain, so stop your sighing. Be happy again, keep on smiling, 'cause when you're smiling.
Following the success of Oblivion, Pearson's decided to sell its theme parks. Alton Towers has just been bought by an international investment bank.